You want Eagles football? We're talking Eagles football. You're listening to 4th and John. Wait, what the f*** is a JAWN anyway?
What's up, Philadelphia? We are live, broadcasting from the beautiful new media studios right outside of Philadelphia. Welcome to 4th and John, episode number 17, otherwise known as the Holiday Bah Humbug. We're on the naughty list. Suck my Yule log Christmas craptacular. Yes, boys and girls, we are on the naughty list. Not exactly sure how we got here, but we are on the naughty list. And just as the beginning of every season starts, we look at the season like a couple of kids getting ready for Christmas, running down the stairs, looking at the presents underneath the tree. Shake them up. Shake them up. What do you got? Do you got yourself a winning record? Do you got yourself maybe a division title? Maybe you got yourself a home playoff game. Maybe you even got yourself a Super Bowl. No, ladies and gentlemen, we got coal. You sons of bitches, we got coal. We are not on the nice list. We are on the naughty list. This is unbelievable. Santa left us nothing. He didn't eat the cookie. He didn't drink the milk. He just shoved that shit right off the table, knocked over the Christmas tree, left reindeer shit all over the roof. We got coal. But as the squad comes back from the holiday, or rather come back from Baltimore, I got my man Gail over here in his best ugly holiday Eagle sweater. Gail, it was a good time. Good people make for good time. But the game was anything but.
Yeah, definitely team dead inside over here. And the first thing that we saw in Baltimore was what? Maybe a dead body.
Yeah, that's the first thing we saw on
the streets of Baltimore, right down the street from a hotel, and I felt like that was a bad sign.
I was team dead inside right from the get-go.
Yeah, I mean it was tough. I mean, the best thing about it was probably the crab cakes, but also meeting a lot of the fans down there. The tailgate was amazing. Shout out to those guys, but
oh yeah, and we're gonna get into all the stories of. But
we sat there in the cold and we're questioning a lot of things, but those last 2 minutes, were probably the best moments of the weekend. But
at least since the Falcons and the Vikings game, I mean that was an exciting. Carson Wentz leads them on back-to-back scoring drives. Now I don't want to call it momentum because it almost seemed like the Ravens maybe took their foot off the gas a little bit and allowed the Eagles to get back into the game. But they were running the ball. They stuck with the run.
Definitely.
Ryan Matthews, 128 yards on 20 carries, 6.8 yards per average. Now, Ryan Matthews is not going to be back in a Philadelphia Eagles uniform in 2017. But he is playing for a contract for somebody else. And every time he looked like he was injured or tired and wanted to come off the field, he'd go right back in. That dude's playing for a contract. You almost wish the Eagles themselves, the ones that are going to be here long term, the ones that are going to be here for a while would have shown the same heart, right?
Yeah, I mean, look at the situation we had. We had Byron Marshall as our backup running back. I mean, it was just a tough situation on the day. I think you wish you had more heart from the receivers. You know, I mean, Zach Ertz is a guy who's actually showed some heart the last couple of weeks.
And how about that tippy toe catch?
I know. I mean, if you could just teach Jordan Matthews that, I mean, but I mean, Zach Ertz just showed that he's taken some of that criticism. And not turned it in a negative way, turned it in a positive way, and it's definitely showed up since week 9. He's had the most production out of the tight end position in the NFL, so got to give him respect for that. But
absolutely,
I don't know. Man.
You got to give him respect, especially since
he's blocked me on
Twitter. Got blocked on Twitter. BBZ, you got blocked by Zach.
Zach, hey, whatever gets you to play better, hey.
It was all your meme. It was all your Tampax putting his face on a Tampax tampon meme that sparked the fire in the belly of Zach Ertz and caused him to play
I still got love for Zach. It just, I just want to see him play. I just want to see him play better. That's all.
And there were some positives. We talked last week, and Gail, we missed you, buddy. We desperately missed you. But we talked last week about, showing some heart and some free agent talk, but some studs and duds on this team, and this is courtesy of Philly.com. I got this right from Philly.com. Jalen Mills, all right, that end of the half touchdown that he gave up, the 37-year-old old-ass Steve Smith Sr., and then he comes back and he makes a comment. Keep in mind, this is a 7th-round rookie. Makes a comment about how he disagrees with the coverage, or the two Jalens kind of mix that up.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you take away from that? A young rookie waving his finger. I mean, that right there is the ball game.
I mean, he's got a lot of mouth. I mean, that's just his game. But I do think Jalen Watkins, he took that pump fake.
He did.
He did take that pump fake. It's the cover 2 man. But you can't let Steve Smith get that far behind you if you're still in man coverage, and expect Jalen Watkins, who's kind of suspect back there, to make a play. I mean, also Jim Schwartz brought extra guys on that situation,
Which is great. Which is an adjustment he needed to make.
But in that situation with 16 seconds left on the clock, I was like, dude, I don't know.
But this is very reminiscent of, that dream team sort of deal where we, what's up?
Don't do that. Don't say it's dream team. Come on.
No, it's reminiscent in the fact that, look, I look at this season and I'm like, I can't wait for this fucking thing to be over. Because the ship is sinking. And I almost want it to be over, not because I don't want Eagles football or don't want to go to the tailgates or I don't want to go to the team or go to the games, but the team could start to get toxic. Like towards the end of that dream team, towards the end of Chip Kelly, you started seeing bickering between the players and the coaches. Players would make comments, the coaches would make comments. Jim Schwartz today even came out and said, listen, if Jalen thinks he knows everything about the defense, I'll put Hicks's mic in his ear. And make sure all the calls are good with him before he. This is not a good vibe.
Yeah.
This is not a good environment where all of a sudden the players start blaming the coaches start blaming the players.
Yeah.
It almost seems like the quicker this thing is over, like the more everybody can just kind of step back, breathe, and heal a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you think like, hey, what if Eric Rowe was in this situation? If he was here and starting, would it be different?
And that is still so curious.
And then you think about the dynamic between Eric Rowe and Schwartz, and if there was some kind of bad blood, is Schwartz kind of testy with his players, or what the dynamic between the players are and the coach? You start thinking about things like that. But Jalen Mills, that's Jalen Mills, man. I think he's feisty. He's feisty.
He's feisty.
Like we said in training camp, when we saw him throw a ball at Chris Gibbons' head, you knew that's not your normal 7th-round rookie. I'm scared to be here. He was testing the waters with sharks. He didn't care.
He might be the best corner on this team, even as a rookie, and even as a 7th-round pick.
And best saying as in best of what we have here.
Yeah, and that's like being the fattest. You know what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? Whatever analogy you want to throw out there. But, Jalen Mills, I worry that he's got a little Josh Norman in him, in the fact that he's going to get too loud and a little too feisty and a little too flamboyant, where all of a sudden he becomes kind of a pain in the ass. Wasn't Josh Norman a late-round pick, too? Wasn't he like a 4th or 5th?
Yeah, he was. I forget where. But
and then he got into a starting role, doing well.
Yeah,
but just a little too much. A little too much.
I need more production before you get.
Jalen Mills was a dud. Connor Barwin, 1 tackle. He's not going to be back next year.
Right.
Unfortunately, I know Philly Mike. He loves Connor Barwin. In this system, not exactly a good fit.
Right.
And if I'm Howie Roseman, I'm thinking about some way where I can trade either a pick in him or him for a late round, maybe 5th, 6th, 7th round pick.
I still don't get why they didn't get rid of him in the beginning. And believe me, I own a Connor Barwin jersey at home too. But it's just he wasn't the right fit for this system, and they knew that going in.
Yeah. But that's what happens when you transfer over. I mean, the same thing happened when, dumbass Billy Davis came to coach Chip's defense, and you go from a 4-3 to a 3-4. There's some people who just flat out didn't fit. And Connor Barwin, talented player, good guy, great for the community, great locker room guy, just isn't a fit here. Nelson Aguilar. We're beating a dead horse right now, but 1 catch for 9 yards and a piss-poor jet sweep at the end of the game.
Worst-rated receiver in the NFL last week.
Yeah.
He was on the field for 98% of the snaps and had, 1 catch?
Yeah, 1 catch for 9 yards.
And then the awareness, he's got a -9 in Madden awareness rating. On that.
No idea, to be honest.
Fourth and 2, you don't get. He ran out of bounds.
Yeah. I mean, that.
But
that
they were staring at the ref for freaking 10 minutes, making sure if it was the right call.
But
or not.
I put more blame on Peterson for even calling that play.
I agree.
Like, you're gonna put it in his hands with the game on the line.
And then speaking of awareness, Justin in the studio over there showed me the GIF, because you and I, right, we're traveling back home from Baltimore. We completely missed it on that run. Everybody was talking about Rodney McLeod.
Yeah,
We
definitely.
totally whiffed on that play. He just showed me the GIF of it. Oh my God! You want to talk about awareness? The guy's trying to take an angle on him, but dude, you only got 10 yards to go.
Yeah,
Like, why are you backpedaling into the end zone to make a tackle?
I actually still haven't seen that.
Oh, wait till you see
Yeah.
it. You're just going to shake your head. You're just going to shake. That's
'Cause I've been
That's
dead
situational.
inside.
That's situational awareness. And sometimes situational awareness on Nelson Aguilar's, whether it be lining up on the correct line of scrimmage or going out of bounds on a piss-poor jet sweep, sometimes that's on the player. Sometimes that's on the coach as well. Because you got to let your boys know where exactly they are on the field, what they have to do. And Rodney McLeod was one of the best free agent signings that we had. Hard-hitting safety. People were comparing him like, listen, this is the hardest hitting safety you're going to get since Brian Dawkins. Well, he's made a couple hits, but you can't be making boneheaded plays like that on the field. Carson Wentz had a okay game. I like what he did at the end there. He showed some leadership. Back-to-back scoring drives. Didn't have the best quarterback rating, the best numbers, but I like what he did at the end of the game. I spoke so much about flashes and taking over a game.
Right.
This is the best example I have of Carson Wentz putting a team on his back and saying, listen, you're going to win because I'm on the field. It's not going to be a situation where you don't lose because I'm on the field. No, we're going to go try to win the game because I'm on the field. So I appreciated that. Cox had a sack and a fumble recovery, and we mentioned Ryan Matthews and his outstanding performance. A lot of the talk after the game, and continues to be, is what? Do you go for the 2-point conversion? So first thing I want to do, because he made a video about it, is throw it to my man Philly Mike over there running the Twitter Live. We're on Twitter Live now. Philly Mike was talking about how he would have kicked the extra point. So, Mike, please, A, first tell us where they can find us on Twitter, Facebook, the whole spiel, and B, explain yourself.
All right, you guys can hit us up on 4thandjohn.com, facebook.com Facebook.com / 4thandjohn. Man, I'm losing it. And at 4thandjohn on Twitter. Go for the extra point. Do it. Do it. I mean, we had the momentum. The first half was really sloppy on our side, but in the second half, we only had the Ravens score once. We only let the Ravens score once. And then with 3 minutes left, right? We get the field goal, and it's a one-touchdown game. The defense makes another stop, okay? And we get the ball back, and we cruise down the field to pretty much tie the game, if not win the game. In my opinion, we should have brought that momentum on our side to overtime. But that's just my opinion. I understand. Granted, I understand why you would go for 2. Why the hell not? The season's over, blah, 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 blah. But in my opinion, if I was the head coach, I would have just went for the extra point and then bring that momentum that we had from the fourth quarter into overtime.
Well, Gail too also agreed that that you should go for the extra point and bring that into overtime. Personally, I disagree. I love the fact that you went for 2 and you went for the win. Listen, I don't want to confuse momentum with just the Ravens took their foot off the gas and, kind of let you get back into the game on back-to-back scoring drives. I will never take a better team on the road into overtime. There are 2 yards separating you from victory. If you want to talk about momentum, you have the momentum in that moment. Use it. I mean, there's no guarantee that you're going to get the 2-point conversion and win the game. But there's no guarantee that if you go to overtime that they don't flip that coin and the Ravens don't get the ball, score a touchdown.
What happened to us against the Cowboys?
It happened to us against the Cowboys.
Right? They had the momentum, got the ball, came right back, and won the game. But obviously that side's on the
I remember a game. It was the Houston Texans versus somebody. I can't remember. Dom Capers was the head coach. And at the end of the game, I think Derek Carr was the quarterback. Or David Carr, I'm sorry. David Carr was the quarterback. And it was the same situation. He drove him down, extra point ties it, 2-point conversion wins it. He goes, he gets it, and he was applauded. The talk of the week was, did you see the balls on Dom Caper going to win the game? Fuck the tie, dude's going for a win. I mean, think about how much of a moral victory that would have been. Now, granted, it didn't work out. But I don't. He has balls for at least trying it. I know, Gail, give us.
I mean,
your
he
opinion.
has balls for trying it. Yes, and as a football player, if I was playing under a coach and games on the line, the record is what it is. I get it. I totally get all of that. I just didn't believe Doug Peterson was the right guy to make the call, like the play call. Like I was scared about Doug making the wrong call. I agreed with going for it in my mind. I got it. But then I was thinking, Doug is calling this play, and it's probably not going to work, so kick it.
I don't even disagree with the play call. I don't disagree. Because listen, blank it out. All right? If I'm calling that play, I'm spreading them out the same exact way.
Is Matthews on the field when you're calling the play?
I don't know. But here
you got to show the threat of Matthews.
Yeah, but blank it out. Here's what I'm getting to. Spread out the defense. Spread them out, all right? And snap the ball. Wentz is in the shotgun. Snap the ball. Find your lane. Pick a lane. You know where you want to go, but you have an option to run it wherever you want. You're 6 foot, 5?
Yeah.
6'6". I don't know how tall you are, but you're a big boy. 2 yards. Plow into the line. You know what I mean? Pick a lane that you think is open. You got a second to receive the snap, survey the line, know where the pressure's coming from, and go with it. Credit to Baltimore's defense. They had the exact right play call. There wasn't a single Baltimore defender in the paint in the end zone. They had every gap on the line of scrimmage and posted up man-to-man. There wasn't a single one of those Ravens players in the paint in the end zone. It was just across the line.
I mean, then you look at the routes that DGB and Matthews ran. Those were like some shitty slant routes.
Also, the ball got tipped.
Well, still shitty slant routes.
Yeah. I
mean, the DBs were shaded on the inside, so it just seemed to me like from where I was sitting, I was like, oh, they're going to do a slant to Jordan Matthews. That's what, in my head, I was like, that's what they're going to run. And that's what they did.
Exactly what they did.
Everybody knew it was coming.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to go to the phones. The number to call in is 215-515-2924.